Welcome back to Big Sky Buckets. I'm Big Sky, and today we're going to talk about the top three picks of the NBA draft in terms of what they've done through two games of the Summer League. It started last Friday. It's been pretty compelling just in terms of entertainment. That's what the Summer League's for. It's entertainment. You get to see your guys finally play. You're super excited to finally see what they look like against as close to NBA level talent as you're going to get, because some of these guys are still trying to find their way as rotational pieces that have been in the league for a while. You have guys that are in their second year, probably looking to make a jump. So you're just getting to see flashes of what it might look like in terms of the regular season. And the Summer League is different, and I think I feel obligated to go and tell you what I think of it. The Summer League is a mixed bag. It's not always going to pan out. It doesn't always translate to the NBA, but there's some things that I feel like might be key attributes or traits of players that do translate to the NBA. The feel for the game, you've probably already known so from whether watching college, international basketball, or just listening to mock drafts or draft guys in general. The high IQ, it's kind of relatively the same thing. One of my favorite things is what happens when your elite skill that you have isn't panning out in this one game. Can you still impact winning or impact the game in some way, shape, or form? And we're going to get there because there's at least one of these top three guys that really showcased to me in the second game that they can do that. And I think that's a great way to segue into this player will translate to the NBA very well. And then the fourth one is it's the kind of opposite. It's if a prospect or, new rookie has a really weird trait that feels like it might be an issue down the line. So we'll start with the guy who's the talk of town right now, Reed Sheppard for the Houston Rockets, pick number 3 in the draft. He's got the moniker of White Steph Curry with the 40-inch vert. Now, the 40-inch vert looks pretty real, and he is an elite shooter, but I don't know if I'm going to call him White Steph Curry. I feel like pump the brakes. We need to see him in real NBA games. But he has been extremely efficient in terms of shooting, especially in the first game. He had 23 points. In the second game, he had 22. He looks great. A lot of people are already saying that he looks too good for Summer League. He's just about there. The second game kind of stamped it for me. But I bet Houston Rockets fans want to keep seeing him play. And honestly, I kind of want to keep seeing him play because that second game kind of opened my mind to the possibilities and seeing the ceiling finally. So, first game was pretty much as advertised. Elite shooter. I think it was 9 of 16 or something from the field. 4 of 6 from 3. He was great. Had some assists, had some steals, everything you wanted from Reed Sheppard. The second game is where it pops out, where he really stands out to me. And that is he went 1 of 7 from 3, which sounds bad. And it's not great. But what he did was his feel for the game in high IQ leads to how do you impact the game when your elite trait, the super efficient three-point shooting, is not working. And that is you still pressure the defense and force them to take you seriously and draw the gravity of that defense to you to open up for the rest of your teammates. And his playmaking in that second game was awesome. It was great. He was making great reads. Once he realized the three-point shooting, first of all, he just kept shooting, which is great. That's a great mentality to have. And at one point, it's okay, I don't want to force hard threes, but I can still rip mid-rangers. I can still get to the rack and get some dunks. I can still get in passing lanes, and I can play make for my teammates. And the connection he already has with Cam Whitmore is extremely enticing going into this next season because both of those guys are probably coming off the bench for Houston. And their bench unit might be really damn good. So all of that is to say, it feels like that second game to me this is going to translate to the NBA. And he's in a good spot with a bunch of talented guys around him. More people are really talking about this more in depth, but I think the other two guys I want to talk about a little bit more just because everyone's talking about Reed Sheppard. So I wanted to make it quick. Shout out to Reed Sheppard. He's been awesome. If he keeps playing, hell yeah. But I definitely understand if Ime Udoka is just let's not risk anything. You're good. You've proven that you're going to be in this rotation. But I bet he'll still play because they look to be in the Summer League playoffs Whether that matters or not doesn't really matter. It's just more entertaining than anything else. All right, let's go to Alex Sarr. The Alex Sarr and Zachary Reese-Shea, there's a little bit more nuance to their performances so far. So in the first game, Alex Sarr kind of stuffed the stat sheet a little bit. Again, the offense is just not there. Number 2 pick. We all knew that the defense is where the value lies, that the offense is a work in progress. And in that first half against the Hawks in the first game, he looked quite literally invisible. Like he wasn't really affecting much at all. And the main thing that pops out to this, in the second half, he came alive a little bit more, made a couple of threes, was a little bit more aggressive, but it's the lack of physicality that seems to be in the way, the lack of rebounds, crashing the glass, and playing in the paint. He really wants to be a perimeter 4, and I do think the issue is that quirkiness of like, look, dude, you're 7'1". Yes, you're going to put on probably some more weight, but because of how athletic and mobile you are, you should just be going up for lobs a lot more. Like, I totally get it. Rip some threes, become dynamic offensive player, but not the whole game. Not the whole game. You shouldn't be just hanging out next to the guards. Like, one of the issues I can see happening is, like, within this first game, we're going to get to Bub Carrington. Next time we're talking about Bub, because I cannot wait to talk about Bub, but I just want to rip these first 3 draft guys get this out of the way. Bub had more rebounds than Alex Sarr, and I knew that rebounding wasn't his biggest skill, but it's still at 7'1" against these Hawks. You are so much taller than everyone else. You should be crashing the glass, and that's what happened in the second game. It's like, all right, these guys are a little bit taller than the Hawks were. Now you're just going to get like no rebounds. I think he had about 3, and he had 8 points in that second game. That inconsistency in terms of offense, that'll work itself out, but it's about him kind of being adverse to physicality at this point. And he needs to lean into that a little bit more. He doesn't need to be straight up just a roll man, right? But one of the most valuable things about him with his level of defense is that the positional versatility, that he can play the 4 and the 5, but it feels very much like he really doesn't want to play the 5. And that's more of a quirky trait than anything that I think will get figured out later, but that's kind of the nuance of it. I know the overreactions are, this guy's already a bust, like, pump the brakes. It's been 2 Summer League games. But there is some level of, come on, man, mentality-wise, go in the paint, someone will throw it up, and you can just dunk it there. Like, catch the lob and throw it in. But that's not really happening so far, so you hope to see a little bit of change there. But, again, not going to overreact on this one. And then the most nuanced, in my opinion, is Zachary Reese-Shea. Now, context. There is bias. Hawks fan, you probably already know. Kobe Buffkin got injured a couple days before the first Summer League game on Friday. And the biggest issue here is that aside from Kobe Buffkin, who is going to be the backup point guard for the Hawks this year, most likely, there are no other point guards on the Hawks Summer League team. That means there's not someone who's setting up for Zachary Reese-Shea. Now, a lot of people, myself included, took exception to the fact that Zach was picked number 1 overall as an off-ball wing, because all I had ever heard and watched from J.L. Borg this past year was he doesn't create off the dribble, he has some dribbling issues himself, and he's kind of a black hole because he doesn't play make. But the more you kept listening to what he's been saying post getting drafted, the more it's like, I was just in this role. And in this first game, he starts creating off the dribble. He starts having some incredible reads. His feel for the game is actually very good, especially offensively. I think defensively, the biggest issue is the frame's got to fill out. He's kind of just getting pushed out of the way, even if the mechanics and the IQ for defense is there. I think that will work itself out. It's actually a little bit more of a project than once anticipated, but that's all to say that the efficiency is not indicative of what this guy can be, because he's not playing with anyone that's going to pass him the ball for the most part. Like, that's the big thing. In the second game, it was all about, dude, will someone pass our number 1 pick the ball, please? Will someone run some plays? This guy has been incredible off the ball, running off the screens, just running around in general. And not a single person on this Hawks team wants to pass this guy the ball at times. especially when he's wide open. It makes no sense. But the flashes that you've seen from Reece Hachey is where I'm more impressed. He's right in the middle. Sarr maybe has been a little disappointing, and Reed has been exceptional. I think Reece Hachey, you can put him right in the middle because I think a lot of people are finally coming to see the vision of drafting him. Like, you see what the ceiling can be, and you understand for certain people out there that are kind of in this space, they realize too, like, there's no point guard on this Hawks Summer League team. When he plays with Trae Young's going to produce so many open looks for this guy. It's going to be incredible. And then the main thing here is that over the course of time, you would hope that the dribbling skills, the on-ball creation skills, and then the playmaking, just because more ball movement should be within the Hawks' offensive system this year, with Jalen Johnson now being like the number 2 option, that could be put more on display because he isn't getting as many assists as he should have in the past couple of games just because the Summer League team has not been great. They haven't made a lot of shots. So that's all to say. I'm actually impressed. He's kind of turning my thought process around on him. So shout out to him. That's what I got for you guys today. I know, super short one. There should probably be clips within this video of some of the things I liked the most, some of the things I didn't, etc. on these prospects. But if you haven't watched any of these 3, I implore you to watch them. Come to your own consensus on what they've been like through 2 games. But maybe we'll come back around the next video and talk about have they gotten better, have they gotten worse, or something. If it really stands out in the next couple of games that they play, I would like to talk about it. But I think Bub Carrington, Donovan Clingan, Zach Edey, and Matas Buzelis, I really want to talk about them next. So I will see you guys probably like on Thursday or something. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what you think of these prospects so far. Have I overreacted in terms of Reece Hachey? If I underreacted in terms of Alex Sarr, you let me know down below. Like and subscribe. Really appreciate the support, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.